Welcome everyone. This is NFTStudio24 Hinza here, podcast series where we have an interview expert from all over the world to their insight on the Web3 market trend, blockchains. NFT Studio 24 is the first Japan-based decentralized media platform to remove the country barriers and the language barriers and to increase the communication in Web3. Today's episode, we have a very special guest, Mason Richman, the COO, producer, creative director of Psychedelic Games. He has an extensive background in the field of animation art and the event production. Mason is also the modeling producer for the big projects such as the Golden State Warriors NFT. He is leading a team of artists developers to build video game on the Web3. Glad to have you here, Mason.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's get started. This is my first question. Please tell us about your company and tell us how the utilization of the blockchain technology enhance your gaming mechanism in your gaming, especially in your games.
Yeah, so our company, Psychedelic Games, has focused on taking the new technology from blockchain and applying it to traditional video games. We are doing things like digital collectibles, which a lot of people are doing, but other things like making the treasure in our game real. So one of our games is a pirate-themed video game, and we use the blockchain technology to actually make the treasure in the pirate game real. So we're going to bury Bitcoin and Ethereum in the game, and we're going to create, like, using NFTs and other things, we're going to create like the pirate experience. So with danger and stealing and other things, like, we use blockchain to enhance the gameplay so it feels more dangerous and real.
Okay, that's great. As you previously worked in the 3D animation in the entertainment industry, which is the quite big market, but what the reason you pursue your career in NFTs?
Yeah, so I originally was working with an event company, or I owned an event company, and then with COVID, obviously events had stopped. So I started looking to do other things, and I already had a passion for art. So as a side project, I was already working as an animator. So I left the event space and I moved into art and animation more. And while there were no events in the world, I, quickly started to develop, I got more interested in crypto and blockchain. I started to take that time where I was doing nothing, and I started reading and I started learning so much about the blockchain technology. And my brother is really the reason why I'm making video games. Is he's got this passion for creating video games, and an opportunity came across his desk to build a crypto video game, and he called me and he said, "Hey, I need animation and art and all this stuff." And I was like, I just did the Golden State Warriors NFTs. I'm ready to do this with you. So then my brother and I teamed up and we started Psychedelic Games with a guy named Harrison who we met, and he's just an awesome partner.
Okay, it's mean your brother is your inspiration.
Yeah, it's beyond inspiration. He's my partner. He's the person I've always created with my whole life. It's just been such an awesome opportunity to finally do some real work with him. And he was a CPA accountant before, and I was doing animation, art, and ticket sales. So this has just been a dream come true.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So your company has a quite interesting portfolio with a high quality characters and well-designed storyline. From the producer's perspective, how does the blockchain contribute to overall your game development?
I mean, there's so many elements that are blockchain related in our game, and I'd love to just take this chance to go through some of the unique ones. Besides collectible skins, hats, pets, like cosmetics, we have functional NFTs like in the pirate game, which is the one I'll be focusing on for most of this interview. The ships are also NFTs, and when you set sail on a premium server with your ship, you have to stake your ship, And if your ship is destroyed, then you have to automatically sell your ship on the auction house. And 80% of the ship's sale price is returned to the user. 10% goes to the team that destroyed the ship, and then 10% goes back to the game for more treasures in the game. So it kind of helps the system. And this wouldn't be possible to do without blockchain technology in the first place, is we can put in what we call battle contracts, which when you engage with someone, like all of the NFTs go are staked. So it's just a unique feature that we have that nobody else is doing, and we think that the more it's simple, but it's still a layer of complexity over a traditional video game.
Yeah, it's interesting. Let's different from the others. So recently launched on the Web3 game called the Golden Tides, the mention of hunting the real cryptocurrency treasures in the trading. Can you provide more detail that how this feature work in your games?
Yeah, so we are launching a token inside of our game called Doubloons. The Doubloons token is an in-game transaction token, and it's going to serve a function to do basically anything in the game. If you want to buy NFTs, if you want to, when you find treasure, if it's a currency, it'll most likely be doubloons. And eventually we'll get sponsors who will give us other tokens, but in the beginning, I expect it to be the doubloons. So we'll end up pegging doubloons probably to Ethereum in a swap function that we put in the game. So therefore, you can cash out between doubloons and Ethereum at any time. So the doubloons token will allow you to buy ships, skins, hats, NFTs, anything from the game store, from the minting process of the NFTs, even to the secondary market that we're building inside of the game.
So this is very important question because it's also from my side too that your games is free to play, especially most of the games are the subscribers games. So you are the free to play game. Then how do you balance the gameplay experience and the earning potentials for the users in the games?
Yeah, this is just something that we as gamers ourselves thought was very important. A lot of these NFT projects, they say, where there's only 10,000 NFTs, and if you have one, you can play our game. If you don't, you can't play the game. And I don't know how a game company expects to succeed if they're gatekeeping the amount of users. Yeah. Where the value of a video game is based on the value of the IP, but if you only have 10,000 users, or even normally it's like 3,000 people own 10,000, right? So if you only have 3,000 people playing your game, it's not really a sustainable business model. It doesn't make sense. It actually screams scam to me. Maybe a couple of them aren't, but it doesn't make sense to gatekeep it. So we decided that it's more important to follow a traditional business model for gaming, which is kind of put out the best game and make people addicted and want to play and make a high quality product and make it free to play. And then after they've tried it, then they can invest in it, right? So we took traditional funding. We didn't sell NFTs to collect money to build the game. We got traditional funding and we're building the game, and we're going to bring you the NFTs in the game at the same time. So there is no question about trust. We don't need you to trust us to build the game, but when you purchase something, we are building it first for you guys, and then we're going to let you play for free and decide if you want to spend money. Just like Fortnite and other games where it's free to play, and if you want to decorate yourself, you can spend some money. The biggest difference between us and Fortnite is that if you spend money in our game on skins, we're going to let you resell your skins and retain that value. We think that that's the biggest function in Web3 gaming, is the ability to give the people the power to control their assets. It's like trading cards. When you buy a pack of Pokemon cards to play Pokemon game, you can sell your Charizard for more money. There's no rules against it. You can take the card and sell it. So why not allow people in video games to do the same?
Yes, you're right. An important thing is that you told that 10,000 is just a small amount if you work in the gaming industry. Yeah. Since you lead the team of the artists, what advice would you give the new artists who wish to pursue their career in the Web3 industry?
Well, you say Web3, but the real thing that is the challenge for artists now is competing against AI.
Yeah.
So, with products like Midjourney and other like art AI things like Leonardo, the artists should learn how to use the AI technology to advance their own skills. So what I've done in our studios, I've encouraged our concept artists to use Midjourney to produce a lot of ideation, and they take the Midjourney products and they redraw it in like their own versions. So we've been able to create a faster pipeline for concept art and among other things. But what is my real advice for people to find an art career in Web3 is to find a great team of people who are also passionate about the project that they're working on. Because I would say it's very difficult unless you're already a very famous artist to go attack Web3. And, it's more about creating the best product right now than, trying to get rich quick.
But it's very difficult to find out the best team in the Web3. Yes.
It's always very difficult, but I don't think it's impossible. If you are a very talented artist, you should be able to find a team that is working on a project that speaks to you. And if not, you can develop your own project and, build a team yourself.
Build a team yourself. Yes, absolutely right. So how is the 3D modeling in NFT different from the usual animation? Many courses program are being introduced for the 3D NFTs. Should an artist or developer require a separate training for it?
No. That's just silly. There's absolutely nothing about a NFT piece of art that's different than a standard piece of art. The only thing that is different is that you attach a contract to it, right? There's a blockchain element to it that makes it an NFT. But other than it being an NFT, it's usually some type of coded piece of art. It's more of a developer thing to make it an NFT and not an artist thing. So if you want to be like the top of the line NFT artist, you should learn how to create your own smart contract as well as create your own 3D models. It's just, they're two separate pieces to a puzzle. You can't say that there's anything different about the art, because there's not. It's the same traditional process to create it, but now you have the opportunity to think outside the box when you add technology.
When you add the technology, right? Absolutely right. So what the key element or feature do you believe that are currently missing in the Web3 games or among the developers that are preventing the mass adoption?
Yeah, so I mentioned it before, is that most of these games are not free to play. Everyone asks for money first and then game later. I think that the biggest element that was preventing mass adoption is that there's not enough great games who are actually putting a lot of money into it to build a Web3 product that everyone would want to play and can play. The gatekeeping from projects you to own an NFT stop people from playing. Even Axie, when they were at the peak during the bull run, it was $300 to buy one Axie, and you needed 3 of them to play. So you couldn't even play the game unless you had $1,000. It's just a very large barrier to entry. It's difficult to onboard people if you're if you're a 15-year-old kid and it's $1,000 to play the game, you're like, I guess I'm not playing. So I think making it free to play is the key thing that's preventing the mass adoption. Also, just the overall sentiment in NFTs was really skewed by the excitement of the technology and people just buying and selling these 10,000 one-of-one mix and max collections, and most of them are scams, and now everyone feels like NFTs are scams. Now, in terms of one piece of art, I don't see a lot of function for NFTs, but in terms of being like a video game collectible, I view it like trading cards, where, like I mentioned, Pokemon cards earlier, you can buy a ton of Pokemon cards and build a deck and play, right? Just like there will be games in Web3 where you're going to have to collect a lot of NFTs and use them in the game. And it makes a lot of sense in video games because about retaining value, right? If you're a parent and you give your kid $20 to buy a Fortnite skin and they want to buy another Fortnite skin, that's another $20. Where if it's in a Web3 game and you buy a skin and you can resell that skin for $20, you can be done with the first one and sell it and take the money and buy a second one, so that you don't actually have to go back to your parent and ask for more money. So I think these are the two major things that are preventing mass adoption. Is there's just people are not thinking about how to retain value and how it's not a scam, and then it needs to be free to play so people know it's a good game before they put in any money. It's all about letting people own their time.
Yeah, of course, you're right. So let's go for the rapid fire question. Are you ready? You have
I'm
just
ready.
5 seconds. My first question. What are the upcoming trends in the Web3 gaming industry in 2023?
I think we'll find more games that are not gatekeeping the number of users.
Yeah. Do you think the blockchain technology will have an influence on traditional games?
I think that they will have an influence on traditional games, but it's going to take enough time, and the traditional games are going to want to see some people have a lot of success utilizing the blockchain before they make the transition. But I think in time, everyone will start to create games that utilize the blockchain.
Utilize the blockchain. What is the Metaverse going to look like in 2030?
I think that the Metaverse will be time to develop something like this, but I think there'll be a lot of people who start to use the same technology that allows a lot of this like cross-playing. The NFT works in this version over here, but there'll also be a lot of barriers, like this won't work over here. So I think it'll be a lot of hubs, a lot of like digital city type hubs where people like interact and play games and like do stuff. I think that it's going to take a long time to get to the full vision that some people have, and I don't know if it's even necessary to reach that full vision, but people always push the boundaries and they try to create something new. So I'm excited to see where it goes, but I think the focus should be on creating like more like World of Warcraft type hubs where you pop in and there's an entire beautiful world with a lot of gameplay and interaction and things to do.
Things to do, yes. Do you think the people will fully understand the blockchain technology in next 5 years?
It's very hard to say. I do think that we will see a trend where younger people are getting more interested in this. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world these days, and it's hard to see that people won't educate themselves on currency that is not controlled by a government. It's interesting to me to see how people want to use this stuff, and if the technology can just get a little bit more secure, and the blockchain space can just get rid of those, the bad actors. I think that there is a possibility that in 5 years we can start seeing a upward trend for the crypto and blockchain tech industry.
Okay, my last question. What message would you like to give to the NFT studio audience, the community, builders, and artists?
Yeah, I would say that if you're a gamer, this is the over the next couple of years, look out for games that value you and value your time. When you put money into a game, you should be able to get that money out, and any game that doesn't allow you to do that, they don't care about you. You should be able to own your assets and own your time when you play a game, and not just mindlessly dump money into a video game. Once you purchase, a skin in Overwatch or Fortnite or League of Legends, they take your money. You don't own the skin. They just allow you to play with it. That's it. They just let you play with it. And that's fine, but that sounds like an old business model to me.
Oh, that's good. It's a really nice advice to all of the persons. Thank you so much for your time.
And this was such a great interview, and thank you so much for having me. You can find us on Twitter at GoldenTides_GG. On the Twitter page, you'll find other official links to our Discord. We do giveaways of our ship NFTs and other items. So everyone who wants to follow along, come and join us. If anyone from this podcast joins the Discord, I'll give you the beta test role. So when we launch the beta test, you guys can come play with us. So that'll be something I give to your community. If you join the Discord, open a ticket, say, I heard about you on NFT24. I'll get you a beta test role. If it comes with a free NFT when we launch the game in Q1 next year. So I'd love to have you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us today's podcast. This is Hinza here from NFTStudio24. But don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and be connected on this web